Viewer discretion is advised.
Perfect.
So we're on episode 2 of the season of The Walking Dead. So I guess just jump right into it. What you guys thought about the episode?
Decisions. I think this episode was about decisions that need to be made, sticking to the decisions that you have made, or the focus that you have on making decisions and your convictions.
Well, overall, did you like the episode or?
I did like the episode. I feel like last week it was bang 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 bang. This week it was a little calming,
Slow week, right?
A little slow week, but developmental week.
Yeah,
those are always good.
Yeah,
I hear that. I thought it was good. I just think it was a little bit too much of I like Jesus enough, but do we really need to have half the episode chasing around? Like I looked up at one point and I looked at the my clock and I saw it was like 9:48 and I was like, oh shit. There's like nothing really gonna happen this episode other than just Jesus catching. I was like, I guess that's cool. But at the same time,
this guy, he has to be some sort of deal. Like this has to be later on. He's gonna be a help to them of some sort.
Definitely.
Because they wouldn't play him up for this random guy. I mean, he has some moves though. You saw when he was attacking Rick.
Oh, he was definitely crafty. Jesus was crafty for sure. Yeah. I think his importance is to remind everybody of where they stand within themselves and where like I said, where their focuses are gonna lie, how they're gonna move forward, and how they're gonna approach things in general in the future. How they're gonna step towards what they need to get done. Like when he came out of nowhere and just popped up on Rick, I think me personally, it brought me back to a question that we asked last week about what kind of weapons would we like to have and all that. I think my weapon, honestly, because I think about things too much and sometimes I think about them to a fault. My new weapon would probably be indifference, because I might have questioned this and that, but I might have gone through what they went through this week. Oh, we got to chase them down, and chances are you're probably not going to find them after all that. So indifference being, their best bet might have been to put a hole in his chest and not go through all that, and and just that's it. Now we got the cash of what we found. Now we got the food and all the supplies and all that. But then you question, should I do this? Should I do that? And like I said, you can think yourself into oblivion, and that could be a real problem.
Yeah. After all they've been through, they're still but that's just who he is. He's always gonna be the Rick that is thinking first before he automatically kills someone. Unless he immediately has. It seemed like he piqued Rick's interest. This guy was clean shaven. He didn't appear to have a weapon on him. Things didn't add up. So I guess there was more to the story that Rick wanted to find out.
Yeah, because a guy, he's definitely not alone. I'm thinking he's definitely not alone, because to need all that food or to be focused on getting all that large amount of food, of course it'd be good to have all that food, but if you're by yourself, then you won't take too many chances. You won't take such a big chance with with people that you just run into like that to get all that food, unless you're supplying or doing runs for a bigger group.
I thought it was an interesting thing too, because you see like Rick's kind of take on it, where he was a little bit more like forgiving, especially after last episode with like trying to make a new world and everything. He was saying to Carl. And then you had Daryl, who both saw the perspective of it kind of being like, there's something more to the story. But Daryl's like, let's just fucking kill him. And Rick kind of like, nah, let's try to get him into our fold. Like, that's what the world needs to be now. It's like an interesting dynamic to see, because like even when they're in the car later on in the episode and they're like, no, you were right. It's like, no, you were right. It's kind of the way that they flipped from the way they used to be.
Yeah, that was good dialogue.
And they had enough reason to believe too that like, it wasn't just enough from seeing that he was clean. It was like he had the opportunity to straight up kill them. He came up on them out of nowhere, and all he did was steal the keys and like run. And then on multiple occasions, he had the opportunity to kill them, and then he never really took it up on him. He even saved Daryl. He's like, yo, duck. And then he kills the zombie behind him,
Yeah. Well, let's go back a bit though. Well, I think that we'll go back to Jesus when they encounter him later on the farm. But in the beginning of the episode, did you guys when Michonne was in her bathrobe with the towel on her head and she was with Rick, did you immediately think that they had something going on?
I didn't think that when they were hanging out in the bathrobe, that I didn't think that that was like an indicator of anything necessarily.
Yeah,
But
because Rick was
you know,
like
they've always
putting
been
his
kind of
pants
close,
on, you know. I don't know. I had like, oh, maybe something's going on.
Little chemistry building.
Yeah, they've had that going on for a while though, to be honest.
It's true. Yeah.
Which I don't mind.
She is a catch for sure.
Mhm.
Michonne, just in general, is an awesome chick. She will look after your family. She's got a lot of heart. She's a pick. I think she's a catch for sure.
Yeah.
Agree. She's got a nice dynamic going on with Carl too. You know, like I like that scene they had where it's like, you know, I do it for you, with everything that was going on with Spencer and everything, which I guess we'll get to.
Yeah. And then the last episode before when Carl got shot, and then before Michonne went outside, she kissed him on the forehead.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, the love is definitely there.
Yeah.
The love is.
I mean, it makes sense, you know.
They both need it too, you know. Like something we're talking about last week.
That's what it was. At the end of the episode, I feel like let's fucking finally.
Let's do this.
It's long overdue.
Let's get it done.
You know, in this situation too, where like I think 2 months passed between last episode and this episode. So like, you know, for the last 2 months they've just been living in peace, you know. So what the hell else you gonna do, right? At some point you gotta get down, right?
You gotta release that stress.
Saying, man, it's like you can't just keep killing zombies. There's no people to kill anymore. So what the hell else you gonna do?
Oh, that's the thing though. No more people to kill anymore.
That's true.
There's a dark cloud lurking for sure, and Jesus definitely. I think that's what it is. Jesus definitely, you know, is that precursor to what's for what's to come. He's not running alone. Jesus is definitely not running alone.
Nah, definitely not. It's a little tougher situation because, you know, I don't want to say anything, but like, you know.
Oh, what, for comics?
Yeah, you know, but I mean, like, there's certain things that I know they'll change.
Right there.
Yeah. I mean, not really. I mean, they've introduced, like, I think at this point we heard about Negan already. So like, it's not like we don't know there's other people out there.
Yeah. No, that's true.
Which is definitely a change from the comics because we didn't hear about Negan at all until a little bit after we meet Jesus.
Jesus.
Oh, Jesus was in the comic as well then.
Yeah, you know, I don't know. It's a weird thing because, like, I feel like, you know, obviously I don't want to talk about it too much, and the comics are blatantly different. But between last week when we recorded the episode and then this week, I actually went and read from where I left off and caught up.
Oh,
and
he went back. Nice.
Yeah, I was like, fuck it, let's do it. You know, let's get my research on. I just read like the whole 40 plus that I was back on.
Awesome.
And,
Nice.
40 plus. Nice.
How you liking it again?
I mean, it was decent, but it was also interesting to see how different things are because, like, Andrea's still alive, Sophia's still alive,
Sophia's
Carol's dead.
still alive.
Yeah, and she's like Glenn and fucking Maggie's daughter, like they adopted her.
Damn.
You know, I was like, oh, this is like weird, and like she's calling him mom and stuff. Like it was like a weird dynamic. And then instead of like Rick getting with Michonne, he gets with Andrea. So I was kind of also not particularly surprised that like he got with Michonne because I was like, he has to get with someone. They're not gonna like leave him hanging.
Yeah, it wasn't really surprising. It was just, you know,
they've been building that chemistry for a while,
Definitely.
and if they're gonna kill Andrea a while back, then go for it, you know.
Yeah.
But it was an interesting thing to see it because especially with the way they introduce Jesus in the comic, is you know, it's a little bit more of a situation where they kind of are all meeting him there, and he's a little bit more friendlier. They kind of ran into him on like a highway, and they were like a bigger group. There was like, I think like 6 or so, and they just kind of run into him, and then he gives a speech that it looks like he's going to give next episode that I thought was going to happen in this episode, but I guess not, which was also why I was kind of like saying before, it was strange to have it be like the whole episode was devoted to like, let's catch Jesus and like wacky Jesus antics, because it felt like it was a little bit stretched when you could have done like a lot more things like, you know what I mean? Like there's more ground I think they could have covered just to make things more succinct and a little bit more like tighter.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what else they have. Like, obviously there's pacing that they have planned already for the rest of the season, but it was just the sense that I got where I was like, all right, so I knew he was going to be in the back of the truck. I knew he was somehow going to be on the truck. Like, I was like, all right, you know,
Yeah.
funny, but it kind of overstayed its welcome.
All that food they lost. All that food.
right? Because they had to fuck around, they had to chase after
Always,
him,
it's
whatever.
always something.
Oh,
But I think they can maybe. They had all that equipment. They could be equipment at the quarry still. They might be able to.
Get some more stuff.
Yeah, to winch
Definitely.
it out the. They might be able to drag it out of the water. They
Mm-hmm.
might be able to drag out of the water. I'm sure they have like some chains or some pulleys over there that they could pull that truck out of the water with.
Oh, definitely. I mean, there was even the little bit when the truck was like kind of still floating a little bit, and I expected like halfway to see like Daryl holding on to Jesus and like Rick jump in and start like salvaging shit. Like I was a little bit surprised to see that not happen. Like it just seemed like it was like a setup for that, just to get whatever you can.
Well,
But
some
they just-
toothpaste, man.
It
Yeah,
was
man.
it was a quick scene. Jesus was bumped by the truck, right?
Yeah, they ran.
Yeah.
They ran over.
It ran over him.
I thought it did.
Because if you were, that's what I thought too. But he looked fine. Otherwise,
he was crouched down, and the truck passed him, and I think he hit like one of the quarter paddles.
oh, okay. Yeah, makes sense then.
So he was fucking knocked out, which is also why I was kind of like, it was so strange to see him not just jump in and try to get whatever they can out of it.
Sly bastard.
It's true.
Jesus is everywhere, though. Jesus
True.
is
He's
everywhere.
watching you. He likes to watch.
What if he's just a hallucination?
That'd be cool.
Him and Rick are both
He won't
sharing it.
sound crazy.
That's like the guy they keep running into when they go out somehow, And then the guy they brought back is not really the same guy,
So if Daryl didn't see him, I could see them going like some really strange route with it, especially with Rick. I don't know, but I also feel like that would have been something they did like a couple of seasons ago, where he was blatantly like,
yeah, Rick is
sane.
past. Oh, speaking of which, what you mean when Rick was going crazy
yeah,
at the prison? Yeah. Speaking of which, though, that brings me to something I was thinking about during this week, that maybe now Morgan is going through, as his character, going through that lull where Rick went through. Because personally, I thought Rick's character was like on a downhill slope with Laurie in the prison and him hallucinating and all that.
Mhm.
I didn't like where that was going, but maybe now this is the point where Morgan was just so damn good previously that they just have to hurt him now,
Could be.
So they gotta break him down in order to build him up.
That's true. Interesting thing with Morgan, I feel like the best way to kind of handle comics is just like when things have diverged, just to talk about it. Morgan
sure.
gets with Michonne.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. So
Oh, that could have been the reason why they were really going out looking for more people. They were looking for love, man. They're running out there looking for love, looking for new interests in love.
true.
Now you can stop the search, and you don't have to go crazy out there looking for more people.
You got Jesus, man.
I don't know. That's tough, man. That's tough to try to bring more people in. Of course, you want you strength in numbers to build up the clan, but I don't know. That's too many. There's too many factors involved in bringing other people in. Too many questions and too many possibilities out there that can throw wrenches into the cog.
yeah.
Definitely, but that's why I feel like what Rick was saying last week, because he was at that mentality, and then he just kind of realizes it's like, nah, but like, what do we want? Do we want to have like an actual
A safe
world
haven.
to live in? Like is like, what living is this? Like, we have to deal with these other people, but like we have to start actually building a real society at some point. And it doesn't mean that we can be like naive about it, which is actually one of the interesting things about what they put outside the sign for Alexandria when like they get to the part where they're like flashing the lights and going in.
Yeah.
It said something like they had like a town motto or whatever. It was like safe haven for
survivors.
Yeah,
and
but vengeance
for
poachers.
plunderers.
Yeah, so like it's like they're kind of putting it out there. It's like, listen, like like if you're with it, like we'll be a safe haven for you, like we'll protect you and like we'll make things run and we will build, but we're not gonna have any tolerance for like those that step out of line. And I feel like that's kind of like the way that you really have to go with it,
Yeah, it's good. They have a really strong safe haven right here with Alexandria.
Right,
And
they got
a great place
houses.
to build the foundation from.
Still only one watchtower though. Still only.
Oh, we don't
one.
know. Maybe.
Well, that's all I've seen.
Yeah.
They
I mean-
they would show more.
In 2 months, I wish that we got to see a little bit more of what they did to rebuild the town, considering like it was all on fire.
Yeah.
So, I want to see like maybe they added like more watchtowers, maybe they like reinforced the walls, added new walls. It seems like they put actual like there was like zombies on pikes outside the door to like kind of also ward off people.
Yeah.
Oh, I did notice that. Yep.
Another thing I did like about this episode, though, well, obviously the whole episode was relationship building, but
and decision making.
right, and I just like how Maggie was reaching out to I always forget her name.
Enid.
Yeah, that she reached out to her, and then she was trying to reach out to Carl, but I guess seeing D out there brought up memories with his mom. So that must have been a really tough moment for her son, D's son.
Yeah, Spencer.
Yeah, Spencer.
Yeah, that whole Carl and Enid scene was a little weird. Like I didn't quite understand what the dynamic they had going on necessarily was.
Yeah.
Like I get, like once we kind of knew, like I figured as much it was probably going to be Deanna, but I mean once we kind of knew that it was, like I guess things made a little bit more sense and there was a little bit more clarity in terms of like her telling us like no, we should go, or like we should kill it or whatever, and him trying to kind of lead it to do the thing that he would want to have done if it was for anyone that he knew. But like everything involving them, where it's like, why are we going out? Like what was going on with that whole situation? Like I didn't really get much of an understanding what was happening there.
The freedom that, because there's the trap behind the wall, the trap within the walls, and kids at that age, they want to be free. They want to be able to run and roam and not feel like they're so closed in. They're so repressed. They need to be able to spread their wings.
Well, especially Carl, because he just got shot. He's probably just getting into the swing of things again.
Yeah,
it seems like he's
It's good.
Well, that's the
PT
thing, is because like before everything happened, and there was actually more kids, and they were kind of like when they were living in their false peace beforehand, before everything happened with Alexandria, they would go out in the woods and they would fuck around. Like I remember, like Carl and Ron and Enid, and I want to say there was some other kids too, maybe. I don't remember. At least those three. But they would go out and they would fuck around, but it felt like it was a little different this time because like Carl is both Carl and Enid, like they kind of have matured at a point too, where they're not really kids anymore. You know what I mean? Like that's, I think, the kind of thing they always had that kind of drew them together, and the thing that kind of drew Enid to Carl over someone like Ron in the first place. But then, after he gets shot and all this other stuff happens, like it doesn't really seem like he's so childish anymore. Like if were he to be a child, I think he would have probably just killed the zombie and he wouldn't have really worried about D. I don't think he would have been concerned about the way that Spencer felt and want to like, give him this gift or whatever you want to call it, really, of like being able to like get a last moment with your mother or whatever,
Yeah. Maybe that was the show's last way of showing us that this is Carl's, that he can't be a kid anymore. That's it. Move on.
Gotta grow fast. You gotta grow fast.
But so Spencer, the last thing he said to his mom was he got into an argument with her, didn't he?
Yeah, in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Damn, that sucks.
Yeah, yep. Going out on a bad tone.
Was it over Rick and their group?
No, it was over
when he took the little food, the wine, the whiskey or some shit.
Yeah, I remember that now. He was like kind of.
It was a selfish remark, we gotta look out for ourselves.
Yeah,
right.
Kind of thing.
I remember that now.
And Rick was thinking about Michonne though. He does have a little sweet spot for her, I think. He grabbed he went back again for the breast savers.
Right.
He grabbed the breast savers for her. Maybe there was something building there.
He's been seeing, she's been in the house. He's been like, something's kicking and it ain't the zombies. What can we do? Like, toothpaste is real important, Can't be in a house. It's just you, Carl, and like it's.
Here, since the toothpaste ran out, just in case, we do get a little action going on. It won't be a little stinky. You got the little breath saver here.
He's been monitoring the situation. He's been getting in close and just kind of, I wanted to do it like a month ago, but it's too much. How
it was too soon.
Real.
It was too soon.
Man,
Jesse's still fresh. I can still smell her.
That was the to draw the comic comparison again. I actually ended up bringing it up a little bit last week when I was talking to Unknown. They actually had like a relationship with Beth, between Carl and Beth. And I felt like it went on for longer, but it was actually only like 3 fucking issues. But they actually like got down. They got together and shit.
Carl and Beth, you said?
Not Beth. Jesse. I keep saying Beth because she's blonde. I don't know.
You mean Rick and Jesse?
Rick and Jesse.
They all over the place.
Carl and Beth were like
Carl and Beth. Carl and Jesse. Wow, Carl, do your thing, boy.
Hey, Carl.
Man. Yes.
Carl could have gotten it.
Now Carl could get it.
Hey, I believe in Carl. Come on.
He's cute. No, I'm saying the way that came out, Carl could get it. I don't know.
You know,
like a personal problem to me right there.
Is it a personal problem? Come on.
It just sounded like you said Carl could get it, and then what I'm thinking is like you gonna give it to Carl.
What's the matter with that? It's a young man.
I'm saying, bro, it's okay, bro. It's okay, man. You could dig whoever you want. It's a new day and age,
I'm saying, but you know what I'm saying? It's a personal problem. Why you gotta hate?
He could be. You guys could be partners. That's fine.
Paul could be my partner. He's gotta keep his eye though. Can't have that.
So let's talk though how much running Rick and Daryl did. Jesus.
Oh my lord.
They were just freaking. It made it seem like they were going on forever.
They chased a fucking truck down, dude.
They chased a truck.
Yeah, that cardio, man. You gotta have that cardio built up.
That cardio and that Orange Crush, man. It's the best advertisement Orange Crush could have had.
How long was he stopped there, Jesus? You figure a crafty guy like that when he had just gotten the jack out of the truck.
Right.
When they got there, you know?
Maybe he was waiting for them.
There you go.
Maybe he was waiting for them.
Bada bing, bada boom.
Could be. I don't think he was. So do you guys think that he was knocked out still in the car, or you think he woke up?
I don't know. Yeah.
Or was it supernatural? Did he just appear?
Nah, I mean, I think. I don't have any other reason to believe that he was awake. You know, I mean,
they showed that he was crafty, and I think they kept showing like and then him falling on Daryl hitting him. Like they gave enough cause for me to kind of be like, so he's just totally like conscious at this point and just listening in their conversation.
He did have a little smile on his face too. You notice Jesus had he had a little smile on his face, like he was definitely listening.
Mm-hmm.
Damn, but you think that next episode that's it? He's gone. He's not in the little room they had him in.
Well, I mean, he woke up in Carl and
he woke up in Rick's face. Oh,
yeah,
I mean, he woke Rick up.
Yeah, he's like, "Yo, Rick."
Yeah,
and they get up naked and they like pulled a gun out on him. He's like, "We need to talk."
There's bigger things going on, you see. Like, there's somebody coming.
Wait, what was that?
They were in.
When was that?
He got into right at the end of the episode. He was in Rick's room with Michonne. So not only did he see the goodies, but he.
You know what happened then? The damn thing that I watched must have cut off.
Oh, you didn't see that?
Damn. Well, whatever. Just tell me now.
Yeah,
the last thing I saw, I'll tell you that, was Rick and Michonne making out on the couch.
So they make out, and then there's like a cut to them in bed, lying next to each other.
Oh, they did it. They got it in.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
He got his. It happened.
Full clothes. They were just spooning, like not on the first date kind of shit. But there's different rules now. Different rules.
Post-apocalypse rules, you know.
So
baseball.
he was Rick was awakened by Jesus standing at the foot of the bed, like, okay, you know, like this, like what do you say? Like, this something I gotta tell you, or
he goes, Rick, and then he goes, wake up, and then like they both get up and they pull out their guns, and he's like, we need to have a talk.
Yeah,
it was like repeat of beforehand when they tie him up. He's like, I think we need to have a talk. Like, can we have a talk now? So like he was kind of bringing it up.
Saying, yeah, we could talk now.
Yeah.
Oh no, that was before when he was like, "Oh, I'll talk now," you know. Now
he was tied up.
Yeah,
if he gets tied up, it's like, well, obviously now you want to talk, but now like he purposely breaks into the room, and then he says like, we need to have a talk, which is again like another show of like he could have straight up killed them. They were sleeping, they were defenseless, and like he didn't. Yeah, so it's kind of showing that, you know, Jesus is kind of, there's something going on with Jesus, but it might not be malicious, which is why I think it's like a little strange the way they're handling it. Like, I think they're trying to give you a lot of pause for Jesus right now, especially because like they kind of name drop Negan, and I think they want you to think like, is Jesus working with Negan, or like, is he Negan? Maybe he's like using a different name. Like, I feel like I get what they're trying to do, but at the same time too, it's like, you know, how many opportunities can you give him to have killed these people and not taking it up before you start saying like, I don't really believe he can be a bad dude, you know?
Yeah.
Maybe he's just, you know, maybe he's just bringing food to people, and maybe he was gonna bring that food back. You know, he's running around like not Salvation Army.
Post-apocalyptic Santa Claus.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like he runs around and takes care of people. You know, he finds shit and brings it along and helps them out and sticks around for a little while and then he runs
goes on his way.
and then he goes on his way.
Could be.
I think he's gonna tell. He's probably gonna. Well, this is all a theory, but you know, I got people that were watching me. You know, people were covering my back and they're gonna be looking for me and they're possibly gonna come and we need to handle the situation accordingly. Well, that's gonna get pretty ugly.
It seems like they're not going to drag it out, which is the thing that I'm probably excited for.
Yeah. So no season of building the walls.
Right. And like when you think about even the last postseason, where like everything, like the first like 6 episodes of the season, well, like what happened to the truck hitting and the horn, and like it was all like telling the same part of the same story. Seems like things are gonna move at a clip. So like I can appreciate that at least.
How many? Did they say how many seasons are left?
I don't think they have a limit.
Oh
No,
And I mean it's a hugely popular show.
There's definitely an ending though.
I could have.
I saw that on something else on Inside the Actor Studio. The guys that he knows, Robert Kirkman knows the ending already. So
Oh,
it's
definitely.
He just it's searching for the path to the end. Right
Well, I'm
now.
sure he has the idea of how he wants the comics to end, and I'm sure he has some idea of what he'll do with the story were it ever to catch up to there. But I don't think it's like a lost situation where like, yo, we're ending season 6 or anything like that. I think we're going while we're one of the highest rated shows or
It's
the
still
highest
making a
rated
killing.
show out there.
Yeah. There's no signs of slowing right now.
Yeah.
Somewhat. I mean, it depends on the series, and I at a certain point, I think they're kind of oversaturating the market with Fear the Walking Dead. Have this, and it's like you can't really have the show go around all year. And then when Fear the Walking Dead wasn't as good as Walking Dead either,
Yeah. I liked it though. I liked Fear the Walking Dead.
I thought it was good overall, but it definitely was a little bit slower. And I wish that they had dwelled on certain more things, like they had a really unique opportunity to talk about the start of the outbreak and everything, and then they kind of skipped over most of that, which was weird.
Yeah. It doesn't seem like we're ever gonna get that. What caused it?
Which I guess I'm alright with, but
Yeah.
So
anything you guys are looking forward to next week? Do you guys watch you said you watched the previews last week. Did you watch it this week, Asadasa?
I did, yeah.
Are you looking forward to next week's episode?
Yeah, like no, I know that you didn't, and especially because your DVR cut off. Did you watch it, Jay?
What, the preview for next week? No.
Yeah.
I didn't. Not at all. I don't watch them. I don't watch them ever. Like I said, I'll start trying to figure things out and it'll just be spoiled to me.
Yeah, so like it's tough for me to talk about because I don't want to ruin it for you guys. But like I think next week is something I'm looking forward to, and it should be interesting. But at the same time, I think that there's probably things that they're going to talk about next week that I think could have been put into this episode and might have been a little bit more efficient, a little bit more worthwhile. But I mean, it depends what happens next week, right?
Yeah, it's true. Well, if you're looking forward to it, then I'm looking forward to it. That's all that counts.
I trust you. I trust your focus, your opinion.
So before we wrap this up, any final thoughts from you guys?
Decisions, man. Get your decisions right and stick to your focus, man. I mean, it's tough to say that because every circumstance is different mitigations, but there has to be a way or a litmus that helps you make your decisions, because you could avoid situations. There's ways to avoid every situation, and they might have just put themselves in a really tough spot right now with this guy Jesus, even though he seems like he's a decent character. But they, after what just happened, like didn't Daryl tell them that they just crossed this biker gang, and there is that dark cloud looming, and now you come across this character that comes out of nowhere, and he's crafty like this. He's like he's not playing around. This guy is special. He's a special character, Jesus, and he's running out there alone. He's gonna
get in with them and ripped their heart off from the inside.
Ripped their heart off from the inside. He was able to tangle with the two best that we have to offer and make his way out. And now he made his way in. And what happened to Daryl? Wasn't Daryl watching? Wasn't Daryl at post watching Jesus?
Well, at the same time, you know, you have to keep in mind that 2 months passed since they saw the biker gang, and they said they hadn't run into any people. So as far as they know regarding like Negan, like it was just they mentioned this guy Negan, and then we killed like 10 of their dudes. So for all we know, Negan's dead, and then no one's come. So obviously they didn't follow us or do anything to us. So like they have a reason to believe that they're kind of safe at this point.
Like,
so that's why
that would be the best way to do it. Like you let them forget about it. All right, now you struck us hard. You struck a hard note. You struck a hard chord with us. You smoked 10 of our characters, 10 of our crew, and
with a rocket.
With a rocket. No.
That would be something you'd want to get vengeance for now, right?
Like I mean, that's the way most people would think
as soon as possible.
But this is
it doesn't seem like
there's a group of there's another way of thinking about it, that you let them sleep on it. Since they have all the problems right now, you know, like
I don't know, but do they have other problems? Because they were still talking about it.
Dude,
like Daryl had brought it up, and this was 2 months after the fact, so it means like it's still on his mind.
No, but they're rebuilding. You know, like chances are that all right, who are these people that just smoked 10 of our characters? Let's go find them. Where's the biggest? I'm sure they heard of Alexandria, that biker crew. They're on the road. That's like the main road in and out. Because that's the road that they were traveling back on. Chances are that they did find Alexandria, so now they got eyes on Alexandria, and they're like, okay, something big just happened. Let's let them. They have their own problems right now, so if we let them think that we're not gonna do anything, they're gonna forget about us. And then when they forget about us, they become not focused on what we could bring, on how we could affect them. Because they have their own internal problems, so let them fix up, build their own defenses back up, and then we send Jesus out
from the inside. No, I can hear that.
Then we send our runner out, because he's gonna find his way in. He's gonna find his way in, and he's gonna get us on the inside, and he's gonna let us know what's going on the inside, and that's when we strike. We don't strike the next day. We let them forget, and we let them now turn their focus elsewhere, and now they become weak to how we could strike them, and that's when we attack.
But then why do that though? Like when they're sitting there with everything on fire, like why let them build up their defenses? Because at that point they already had their focus on the rebuilding aspect, and everything's like literally on fire around them. They're surrounded by zombies. Like if you think of like an opportune moment to strike, right? You know, like you go for it then. So like why kind of draw it out over 2 months? You know, like I mean, I get where you're coming from with like sleeping on it and like letting it marinate and kind of like getting at them a little bit later on and doing like a sleeper cell thing. But at the same time too, it's like they literally just killed 10 of your dudes. You are like head shit dude that thinks he can just like take control of things, just to be like, no, I own half of what you own. Like you're that type of dude. Like, would you really be someone that would like let it sit for 2 months? We had this perfect opportunity to just go in there, roll through with the rest of your crew, and just fuck them all up. Because at that point, he could have just taken them out. Like, he could have really wrecked them. He could have fucked them up. Like, because they had no defenses. They had nothing. They were too concerned with all the zombies and all the other stuff going on. The literal fact that, like, their entire, like, neighborhood was on fire. Like, they could have just rolled through.
Both sides do make sense, though.
Steamroll.
Coming from
they could have had nothing to worry about.
I can see your side, and I can totally see Asadasa's side. Because, I mean, me personally, I wouldn't have attacked in that moment. I would have thought about it, and then if I would have went back to their place, no matter what. My 8 to 10 of my dudes got blown up. I'm going to find them, and I'm going to assess the situation. Once I see what's going on, and I see all this shit, all this chaos is going on, I'm gonna let that happen first before I risk any more of my own men. Because who knows? Maybe like that's a big hit to lose all your men. Who knows? Maybe he has like 100 men. We don't know at this point. But what I'm saying is, to attack that same night, I don't know if I would have done it, but to wait 2 months, I think that might be also too long.
How do we know it was 2 months, though? Did they say it was 2 months? What they said at the beginning of the episode? I didn't even say that.
They said it was 2 months. And then they brought it up again to like I watched The Talking Dead afterwards. And they
I gotta start
confirmed
watching
it. They're
that.
like, yeah, it was
I
2 months.
I watched it a little bit.
I've seen it a few times. It's pretty good.
But to get back, like, but now if you are Negan, now you want to build your numbers back up, or you want to really, you see that they took out you guys. Now these people, you want to learn more about them. You want to learn more about what they're going through, and if
they have 50 more rockets,
if they have 50 more rockets, or if they have more people coming in and out, and now since the place was broken apart, you want to come in and really take control of a territory, of a situation that's in shambles, or do you want to allow them to build the place back up to get their resources back together instead of rather coming in and now you got to do it? So let them do it, and then while they're getting the resources back up and everything's getting back together, that's when you come in, and now everything's back in line. Now their functionality's back in order. Now's when you strike, because now you're taking more of a formalized product. You're taking something that's worth more while to them.
But that also like supposes that they actually want to take their product, though. You know what I mean? Like it feels like, you know, you don't really know quite yet if he's like going to be someone that's interested in just kind of like being rational like that, or if he's someone who just wants to like just fuck shit up. Because there's a difference between it just being like, all right, so like we saw this crew, they were a little bit down their luck. What's the deal? Can we help them out and then try to extort them? Or is it like something else? Or is it just going to be like, no, we're a big ass group. We just know that we can extort people. And then like you crossed us and then we're going to fuck you up. Because you have to remember too, how quick that guy was, like one of the bikers was willing to like shoot Abraham and them just because like they talked. Like they're really not the type of people who really seem very open to the fact of like caring too much about these other people at all. It's like, you know, to an extent, it's like they kind of let them go, and it's like, well, I think that you're like, you know, I don't have to kill you, but if you're not going to listen to me and do what I was saying, then I'm like, no,
he wasn't going to kill him because of something that Abraham did. He said that they initially do that just to show that we got the power, we're in control right now. It wasn't because of anything that he did. It was just like, listen, this is what we do. Fall in line. That's why we do this. Because now you're going to listen to us.
Right. But then, like, when he got to that point, and then, like, right before the rocket hit, he was legitimately about to shoot them both. He's like, if you're not going to listen to what I'm saying, if you're not going to be, like, following the rules, you're going to be someone that's going to be a problem. I'm just going to take you out right now. It's, like, really not, like, it's, like, a prerogative of having to deal with you
actually
being
think about this now. Why didn't he follow that code that he had? Oh, he said, normally we would introduce ourselves by plugging you, by killing somebody right off the bat. Now, did he not do that because they had eyes on them, and now we were gonna follow you back to your crew, to your place, to see what you got going on there? So did he not do that because they already knew where they were gonna get led back to, or just because like he had a change of heart in that one moment?
It really seemed like it was more of like a situation of like, we're going to follow you back, obviously, and find out what's going on. And then that's when I would have kind of believed more that they would have done like the sleeper cell type thing, or they would have done like straight up steamrolling. Like, it really depends. Because like the vibe they gave off was very much like, what you own isn't yours. You don't own anything. It's all Negan's.
It's ours now.
Yeah, but that's why I think that now they did have eyes on Alexandria already. And now I'm thinking that's another reason why that they didn't strike while the Alexandria was in shambles, because they had to get their numbers back up. Now they went out calling everybody who was involved, everybody who else who believes in the whole Negan movement, we'll call it, and we're bringing all in our troop. We're going to take some time to bring in all the numbers, everybody from around. We're going to go get more people. We're going to go strong on more people to follow us, because it's going to take us a little time. But we're going to build our numbers up and build our strength back up, because we're going to go and get this Alexandria place.
All on assault on Alexandria on all fronts.
Exactly.
I get what you're saying. I get it. I hear you. I definitely hear you.
Because it's like what he said. Normally, we would just shoot one of you right off the bat. But why didn't he? It wasn't because he had a change of heart that one day. It was because, I'm thinking it's because, like I said, it was because...
Well, he wanted to bring him back to the because if you shoot him, then they're definitely not going to bring you back. Probably
now it's going to be a fight, and we're all going to die here. Now you're not going to,
so I don't think it was the act. Wait, what are you saying though? That it was the act of what? It was like it was.
He didn't shoot him because they had eyes on Alexandria already.
Right.
or maybe he heard about Alexandria
Well,
already.
if he had eyes on Alexandria already, why wouldn't he just kill him right then and there?
Because they needed to get brought in, and maybe they were playing it smart. Like we're not gonna kill you right now. We want to get brought back there, but we want to get brought back there, and like it's gonna be we want to play it smart right now. There's different ways you could think about it, but I think that's too crazy for me that he just didn't. He had a change of heart right there. There was a reason for that change of heart right there.
Well, that's two different ways you could take it. To be honest, like I think there's one aspect of it just kind of being like you said, is maybe there is some aspect of I need people alive to kind of end up supporting them. There's an aspect too where it's kind of like, you'll be able to gather supplies for me that belong to our crew, and then like we'll do whatever. Like I feel like there's something to it where they might have wanted to keep them alive just based on that. At the same time, though, like when they said specifically, it's like normally I'd introduce myself by killing one of you off. Honestly, and this might sound like a little weird to say, I think that straight up is like a comic book thing, because when they introduce Negan, that's how they introduce him. You know what I mean? Like, and that's kind of like I feel like where there was kind of like a nod to comic people, like just to think about it from that meta aspect. I know you're thinking about it from like in universe style thinking, but to be honest, like it feels more like when they did it, especially thinking about the fact that like when they had that little scene, I mean they showed it again in the beginning of this season premiere, but when they ended the last one, it was like an after credits thing, and it all felt kind of like strange, like it was like cut from that episode, you know what I mean? Like it wasn't something that you was originally supposed to be part of it. So like when I kind of read that at first, like I thought it was just kind of like, oh, you expect us to kill someone right away because that's what happens. Like don't expect that to be the case. So like that's kind of the way that I took that to be. Like I get what you're saying, and like in universe that might be what I'm thinking of like in terms of rationale. But for me, when I took that, it's like it was kind of like don't necessarily expect someone to die just because we showed up. Doesn't necessarily mean it's gonna happen.
All right, so I think that's a good spot to wrap it up. So as a sign off, my name is FUNKNOWN again, and you can reach me at twitter.com/unknownixi. You can reach our IXI Club channel on YouTube at youtube.com/IXI Club, and also Twitter /IXI Club.
And I'm Asadasa. You can see me on Twitter at twitter.com/Asadasa, ASADASA.
And I just want to say there's 3 ways of doing things: the right way, the wrong way, and the Jace Rothstein way. And that's me, Jace Rothstein. Jay, I'll be here. Can't reach me, just put your ear to the ground and listen.